Hello everyone, March 20th, Friday, and this is a somber, difficult day, difficult message.
You know what, it is, and to be honest, our intention with this message is to have some information for you, but this is mostly a heart message. This is a message that's from us to you at a most unusual time in America, in the world, certainly in the beauty business, and we have been fielding calls and texts and emails and announcements and experts and the governor and our president, and all of those things have been going on and on and on, almost nonstop for for the last week to 10 days anyway. And so there's been an awful lot of back and forth on do we close our salon or do we not close our salon? Is the government, is the governor going to close us down, or should I close? I want to be good to my people. I want to be good to my community. I want to do the right thing. And it's interesting because the right thing can be right, but it can be different. And it's different for different people in different salon settings and circumstances.
I think a salon said it best today. He said, you know what, if I stay open, I'm offending people. If I close, I'm offending people. What's the right thing? And I want to do right by my employees. I want to do right by my guests. I want to do right by the community. And what happened at 3 o'clock today made that decision for all of us.
For all of us. And that's Governor Pritzker in Illinois. And we don't have any information yet on Indiana following suit.
We're certainly
we honor the salons in Indiana, and we're blessed to be able to serve you. And so this doesn't directly right this instant apply to you, but it does in a way because of the news that we're going to share. Governor Pritzker for Illinois announced that he was putting in place a stay-at-home order for everyone in the state. And that stay-at-home order means that all non-essential businesses need to close. And he started, and I thought it was really well done by Governor Pritzker. He started by saying, what isn't different? And the things that aren't different is that our medical providers, our grocery providers, our pharmacies, people who work in that supply chain that feed the grocery stores and the pharmacies and that keep us healthy, or as healthy as we can be, the hospitals and the people that support the hospitals. I remember him saying people like the plumbers. I know that schools, higher education, that for the purpose of e-learning, you can still do that.
Well, and even the schools that are closed have decided nutrition is still going to be something they're committed to.
Sure.
During this time. So we've been mandated, stay at home, and so the decision for PSC to be closed for the next couple weeks at least was made for us, as we said.
So the effective date that the governor talked about was tomorrow night at 5 o'clock through April 7th at the end of the day. So everything at this point is pointing toward reopening April 8th. All subject to change. All of us know that at 3 o'clock every day we've been on the edge of our seats waiting to see what was the next move and how is that going to affect us.
As owners, we understand your fear, the uncertainty that's in front of you, the amount of times that Steve and I have said to each other, asking a question that we don't know the answer. And that's the hardest thing as a leader, is because you have people looking at you, wanting your leadership, wanting your answers, wanting your plan. And quite frankly, during this time, there was none that we could absolutely say for certain, this is what we need to do and how to do it and when to do it and why to do it. The why was the only thing that we completely understood. But also, we were getting more reasons, as numbers and statistics were telling us every day, that we had to try to squash this. And the only way it could be done by social distancing and lessen the curve, right?
Yeah, flatten the curve.
Flatten the curve, yes.
And that's, we're dealing with a one of a kind, a novel coronavirus, COVID-19, that spreads from person to person. It's the only way that it spreads, or service, from a person who had it to another person. And they say the average person infects 3 others that has it. So when you look at that, it's pretty amazing how fast it has spread and is spreading. And we got to do something. It makes sense. From a business owner standpoint, we did say we're still making shipments today, and we'll do our best to honor every order that comes in.
And even if you need to place one now, our phones are ringing. Is it 5 o'clock yet?
4:55.
Okay, well,
We'll keep the phones on for longer. We'll be here. We'll do the best we can to service you in the best way possible. We will be in touch. We're going to try and come to you through these Facebook Lives. I'm not going to say every day. We're not going to do a 3 o'clock every day. We're going to let the governor do that. But we will come to you as regularly as possible and just talk about things. Talk about the beauty business and some of the stories that we've heard, and some of the encouragement, some of the heroes that we've been able to see and hear about, because certainly where there is great stress and challenge, there will always be great people and great heroes. So that's going to happen.
the other thing, and I want you to read this next, but another thing that we're going to talk about with you is things that you might consider just from the things that we've heard from salons, right? Mm-hmm. So, but let's remind ourselves why we do what we do on a daily basis. And this is beautifully illustrated by Bernie's message today.
I started today with a message, actually one somber message from a friend in Italy, and then I got this, and it's so Bernie Cook from Springfield, Illinois, who's been my friend since I was a kid.
Since dirt.
Yeah, since they discovered dirt, actually. And it goes like this. These are Bernie's words, and I'll say that again at the end. These are his words, but they spoke to me in an incredible way. These are interesting times. I've been licensed for over 54 years. My father worked in our industry until he was 90 years old. We've seen and experienced a lot in that time. I have never seen or heard of anything like this. The fact that our businesses have been shut down, our employees are suffering, and our futures are in question is devastating to us all. The Great Depression took our money, but it didn't separate us from each other and our clients. We will find a way to live and eat. The government might also help, but the separation from our work families, from our clients, from our creative expression is the part that's killing me. Our industry is the very fabric of the quilt that makes up our communities. People in our profession don't take long vacations, not because we can't afford them, but because we can't be away from our addiction to our craft and our clients. We work through injuries, depression, personal problems, family tragedies, surgeries. Nothing can keep us from our passion. Helping people cope, lifting them up. It's an addiction for us. And now we are cold turkey, separated, out of touch. We have to survive this time creatively. We have to keep busy with our families, our pets, our neighbors, with each other. We must stay safe to reach the other side of this, so we can be there for each other and our clients. They will need us, our clients, our guests will need us more than ever. This will pass. And when it does, let us never again take for granted the opportunity that we have been granted to serve our industry. I love you all. God bless. Thank you for listening. That was from Bernie Cook in Springfield, Illinois. A lot of you know Bernie. A lot of you throughout our state know Bernie. He's been an industry champion for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. And I'm blessed to be able to call him my friend, and I'm sure you are too. That spoke to me because I think that I think that the things that are so, there's so much unknown and it's scary. So I want to do a couple of business things real quick to get those out there. If you're closing your salon, and in Illinois we know that you are, please give out the IDES website and have your people get on that website and claim unemployment. We need to get those benefits in their hands as quickly as possible. Now you're going to be in the salon till 5 p.m. tomorrow, more than likely, but you're going to want to get that out there so that they can. Indiana, if and when yours does, you have the same unemployment security offices. Please feel free to feed those to your people. Talk to your people. Don't just, you know what? This is a time more than ever. It's a time to lead. It's a time to be present. It's a time to be purveyors of hope. I know that when this struck me so much, I was standing in front of our school with future professionals and staff, and I really felt like I had the pressure in their eyes looking at me as if, almost as if I was a parent, almost as if I was supposed to be able to just fix it and make it better. And believe me, if I could, I would. And neither, you can't fix it either, but you can be there with them. And that's the thing. Sometimes being present with people and just sitting with them in their wonderment, in their grief, in their worry. I know that hairdressers do extraordinary things, and I know that many of you will do unbelievable creative things in order to help your people through this.
One of the things, I was speaking to Jim and Tina Salerno this morning, and I hadn't thought of it like this because I don't have this, I'm going to say luxury, and it's an opportunity. For the salons being closed, yes, those are days that the salon is losing productivity. But one of the most beautiful things about the craft of hairdressing and servicing guests is you take that craft with you wherever you are. Meaning, if I only work Tuesday through Saturday, if I had to, if my family needed me to, I could work Sundays and Mondays also. So you have the opportunity to, just like you do during Christmas.
When we come back, get ready, because your guests are going to need you more than ever.
Absolutely.
And we're going to need to, here's a couple things.
I mean, we can't do that at PSC.
No.
We don't have that opportunity just to extend our hours and think that's going to make our business climate change, but a salon does have that. So if someone is frightened, we start planning about what will our hours of operation look like, or what can we do when we return back to work. Keep that in mind, especially for your very heavy producing hairdressers. Most people want to not work more than 35. If they went to 45 for a few weeks or maybe months to make up for this, so be it. They need to make that choice, what's best for their family, and they have the tool themselves to be able to provide that.
Mm-hmm. I made the offer on our last live, and I know that from the number of views, I know it was viewed extensively. But I got one person that asked me, that actually wrote me and said, will you send that video or that podcast that we mentioned? I'm going to make that same offer again. Not only the first podcast that I offered in our last video, but I want to tell you that I've got two more things that I would love to share with you. One is from John Gordon, and the other is from Simon Sinek. They're on YouTube, so I'll just send you the YouTube links on both of them. But I thought they were particularly poignant today because they were done in response to this.
Do you have the names of both of them?
I can get them when you're talking in a minute, but
okay.
I want to share with you one of the things that John talked about. John Gordon, one of my favorite authors. He's written The Carpenter. He wrote Stay Positive. He's written The Energy Bus and No Complaining Rule and Training Camp and so many New York Times bestsellers. Mm-hmm. And he works with some of the greatest sports teams in our country, certainly. And so he's really a tremendous guy and resource. Well, he did a webinar this morning, And he brought up, I thought it was 5 Ds, but there's 4 Ds that I got sent to me here. And I want you to think about those, and because they're real right now. The first thing that happens in a situation like this is that we're filled with doubt.
And defeat in some ways. I mean, people, right?
Yeah. I mean, we get that doubt. We hear a newscast. We talk to one of our staff members that's wondering. We talk to a guest. We talk to another hairdresser. Mm-hmm. And what are you doing? What are you doing? And we listen to the newscast. And that doubt starts to work inside of us. And what the doubt many times gives way to is that we're discouraged. We get discouraged about it. I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen this week from everybody that I've talked to is that we do get discouraged because there's so much unknown. None of us have the answer. And so we think we're never going to have the answer. We're never going to have enough ventilators. We're never going to be able to get the test. We're never going to have a vaccine. We're never going to agree with what this person's saying or what this political party's doing. And we get discouraged. And then, in addition to that, we get distracted. Distraction sets in because our mind continues to work on things. You don't choose to have negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are part of our brain working and our DNA. You don't choose to have nightmares. They happen. You don't choose to have dreams. They happen. And I think that these distractions happen. We don't choose to have distractions, but it's almost like that the thing everybody jokes with you about squirrel, where you go off in a squirrel moment, where all of a sudden you're talking about one thing and you're way over here.
Well, and I was talking today, and I couldn't complete a sentence. I would start on something, and then by the time I was done, even be finishing that thought, I was scattered onto something. I have never had my mind so jumbled together, and it usually isn't for me. Usually for me, it's all sequential. What's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order, and I have been rapid fire thinking because I can't solidify anything until 3 o'clock. I think at 3 o'clock when the governor made the decision, now I can go into how are we going to respond? What are we going to do? How are we going to take care of our people? I think that helped me a lot, being able to say, this is what we need to do, and it's for the right reason, right? Mm-hmm. So that was tough. I mean, I think many of you felt the same way. When you can't lead and people are looking back at you for your leadership, that's a tough position to be in. It's a no-brainer, but at the same time, if we close, how do our people eat? If we close, how do they take care of themselves and their needs at home? Thinking about all the considerations, landlords as well as credit card companies and so on and so forth are willing to make during this time, our staff has to ease up and realize that there are provisions for them that are going to be made, right?
Absolutely. And so I promised you I'd give you these two. The last one of the D's is divide. And what I found out from John this morning was that sometimes when we go all through that process, where we wind up with is we divide instead of come together.
Well, and we felt that this morning. I mean, we brought our 9 people together, our leadership team, and we had 2 scenarios we were dealing with. One, if we were told to close, and the other one, if we have to remain open because salons still need product. And wow, we were on the same page, and then we would sit in there and almost divide on what the solution should be. Mm-hmm. Even though everyone had the best interest, you still can become divided even when your intentions are good, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean your intentions are bad that you divide.
Yeah. So that there were 5 Ds, by the way. Thank you, Jennifer.
Did you just get another one?
And it's distort, and it came after the distract. Distract, then distort. And the last one, what I found out was that the word anxiety really means to divide. So think of all the people that are going through an anxiety attack, that are anxious over something like this. It means to divide, to go apart from your circle, to go apart from the people that are there to support you, to go apart from your faith.
It's a natural reaction to run away from stress, any way you look at it.
So the YouTube, and again, if you want to write me, text me, get in contact, that's fine. I'd be happy to give it to you. But the YouTube for John Gordon that I mentioned is Strategies to Stay Positive Through Challenges and Change. Strategies to Stay Positive Through Challenges and Change. And the Simon Sinek one, which is also brilliant, talks about, and why I want you to see the Simon Sinek one, is because we're going to have a need to stay in contact with our teams. We are at PSC with our team. We know that you are with your salon teams. And one of the best ways, Simon Sinek's company's been around for 10 years, and he's a brilliant leader. He's written some of the best things on leadership. But his company has always been remote. So once a week, he has a remote meeting with his entire team, solely to build relationship, not to solve business problems, solely to build relationship. And they actually model it for you in this YouTube, and it's, again, it's brilliant. So I'm going to give this one to you. It's How Remote Teams Can Connect Meaningfully. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, How Remote Teams Can Connect Meaningfully. We don't want to waste time, but we also want to spend the time that's necessary so that we keep our teams connected during this unusual time. We've never, y'all know, we've never been separated like this, certainly in our company's 38-year history, and some of you for longer and some of you for shorter.
The other thing that we want to think about right now is connection with team. I mean, some of you have asked, where's an owner go? Talk to another owner? Yes. Talk to other people? Yes. Build your committee right now, the committee of trust that you need to talk through. When you have fears, the last thing your staff wants to hear is your fears. So spread those somewhere else. And Steve and I, we're exposed to a lot of salons. We have channeled our mentor, John McCormick, this week. And
Talking to him tomorrow.
Right, and has 18 salons in Houston, Texas that do what, $60 million a year. What was his strategy? What was his decision making? I mean, we both wrote him the same night and said, what are your plans? I mean, the first thing is we all know now what we had to do to close the business down. It was mandated. Now you have to go and think about your playbook. How am I going to bring this back up, right? Because right now, I don't believe or I don't know if any of you are scheduling future appointments right now. How could you, not knowing when we'll be allowed to, and with confidence and ease, be able to open our doors again? So you have to start thinking, if they allow us to open the 7th, this is what we'll do, this is how we'll bring people back, this is how our front desk administrative team needs to do, this is what my leadership team needs to do, this is how I'm going to have our staff scheduled, this is how we're going to utilize our resources. So, and then it would go another week if we have to open that week. Start thinking like that. Try to have a plan for when you come back together as an organization, how you're going to present yourself again. Some of you, not all of you, some of you may have to consider a price increase when you return. We're just putting that out there. It's not absolutely necessary in some cases. You might have just done one. Maybe you were waiting till the fall. It might be necessary earlier than that.
Yeah. And I think that the part that I want you to think about is that people sense, the ability to care for people, is hairdressers and barbers' superpower. I mean, it's absolutely your superpower. This is a time when it's going to really help you get through this situation. The other thing that I thought about while Terry was talking is how many times, Terry, have we watched sports? We use sports analogies a lot.
Yeah, and we don't even know what to do with ourselves. There's no sports on right now, right?
And so many times, Terry and I have looked at one another and said, boy, so much is the same in business. Exactly. But the one thing that's so different is that if it's football, they play one game a week. Basketball plays several games a week, but they don't play every day. They don't start a new game every 30 minutes or every hour. And in the salon, there's rarely, if ever, let's say never, chance to call timeout.
This is a big timeout chance and opportunity to redevelop and re-strategize and reinvent. Maybe there's some things that have been driving you crazy in your business. Maybe you said, gosh, this has been on my dream list. Guess what? Change the playbook right now. Change the steps of the service that you want to present to the community when you come back. Don't waste this time to give brain power to your business. Just think about it and recreate it.
So I think that at this point, we're going to start moving toward wrapping this up. But the thing that I want to encourage you in, and that's really the most important part. We wanted to be able to encourage you at a time when maybe you're not feeling too encouraged. And business is something that is not for the faint of heart. It's something that not everyone can do, but you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to affirm you in that you have what it takes. And if you don't have what it takes, you know people who have what it takes.
Well, and you know, I think today I had a moment and he just came up and held me and said, we're okay. And I thought, yeah, he's right. But I had a moment because I felt so bad that our staff, our team of great people have fear. And you always want to remove fear if at all possible. And that's what's really bothering me the most. So before we taped this, we had a go-to meeting with our entire company to inform them of what's happening and what we're going to do and how we're going to be there for each other and have each other's back. And we know on the other side of this, we'll come back stronger. Just even if our care factor for each other improves during this process.
Sure. So, again, from John Gordon, his 3 things are love, serve, and care. Those
and then
3
start
things.
over again.
And the most important thing right now that we can do for each other is to love. Single most important thing is to love. Love people through their uncertainty, love them through their fear, love them through these moments where they may feel so alone, but you're right there. Serve others always. Hairdressers, you do that brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
Barbers, you do that brilliantly. But now you're going to be in a different thing. You're going to be at home in your community. How do you serve your kids? How do you serve your spouses? How do you serve the neighbors? How do you serve your community, maybe through your church, even though they're closed too? And then care. What's your care factor? Care more than anybody else. Care better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And know that this too shall pass. We're not doing this alone. I believe wholeheartedly that God is with us, and we're going to come back stronger and stronger than ever. So we wish you peace in the storm and positivity no matter what.
And if you need us,
We're here.
we're here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Love.